All right, welcome back. Of course, we were just talking about politics a little bit earlier. Joining me now is a man who knows a lot about security here in our county and, of course, Palm Beach County as well. Sheriff Rick Bradshaw joining us now. Now, you had a very special meeting with President Donald Trump just this past week. You alone with him at Mar-a-Lago. What was said between the two of you?
Well, we had a great conversation, and you know, people that know me know it's not about politics. It's all about protecting the community here. So having access to the president to be able to explain to him what we need here as far as Homeland Security is concerned, that's pretty big when you stop to think about it. He's very up to speed on what's going on. He understands the issues, and we had a good conversation about what our responsibilities are here and some of the ramifications on when they close down that border. We could probably see a lot more influx coming in here through our border.
And so you raised those concerns with him. So specifically, what are those concerns about our borders?
Well, I mean, you know, once a month, sometimes once a week, we get people trying to get into our country through the ocean here where they come in on boats. And these are bad people. I mean, some of them have been deported 2 or 3 times. They're ex-gang members. They've been convicted of violent crimes. So we're very concerned about the influx of those type of people into our country, and we pay attention to it. We work with the Coast Guard. We work with ICE. We're the only county in the United States that has the coastal radar up. So we pay very close attention to try to stop those bad people from coming into our country.
And was the president as concerned as you are about this?
Well, he's concerned about the totality of people trying to get into this country that want to do bad things for us. So he's on the right track with that. And again, it's about making sure that I get what I need to protect my community here, and for him to understand local law enforcement. That's historic, and that's really nice.
So, Sheriff, essentially what you're saying is, okay, President Trump, by building that border along the Mexican border, by building that wall, that could mean more concerns for us here in Florida. Do you think that border is a bad idea, that wall?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to get into whether it's good or bad. You know, it's an option. They have to do something to tighten that up. So naturally, it's like when you fight gangs, if you get rid of a gang in one place, they pop up in another. So the natural progression is going to be wherever you can stop people in one place, they're going to try to find other ways to get in. And this is another border that I'm sure people will try to get into, and we probably will see an uptick in it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about reimbursement. Of course, the president has been down here 3 times just since Inauguration Day. It's estimated $60,000 a day. That's to pay your deputies and overtime costs. Who's footing that bill right now?
Well, right now we are, and it's mainly overtime. We don't take people off the road and subject anybody's safety to do what we need to do, so we're fully capable of doing that. The process is very complicated. You know, we've never had to think about it here because we've never had a president that actually had a summer place here, and it will come on a regular basis. It's a complicated process because you have to deal with the legislature up there in Congress. There's budget appropriations. We know what the system is. We're working with our local legislators that are up in Washington to try to get the appropriate documentation up there and get the money. So, I mean, nobody's expecting to do us for free, but it's going to take us a little bit of time to get reimbursed. But I think at the end of the day, we're going to get what we need to make sure that we're reimbursed.
Did the president give you any idea that they would help speed that process along?
No, I don't. You know, it's not one of those processes where he can point to somebody and say, go ahead and give them the money. It doesn't work like that. So, I mean, he understands with the concept of what's going on. It's the methodology that we have to work out, and we're working with the people up in Washington to make that happen.
All right, so of course when the president's in town, you're not taking sheriff's deputies off the beat in order to protect the president, but you are having to have some deputies work overtime. I have got to think that is starting to take a toll on them now that it's been 3 weekends in a row.
No, it's not a burden on us because we have enough people to be able to do it, and they have some rest periods in between. So our main goal is don't inconvenience the public any more than we have to. Get the president safely where he needs to be, and then when he's at the complex, make sure that working with the Secret Service that we protect him properly. We're fully capable of doing it. It's just a matter of getting reimbursed for the money.
And how much could things change for you once that helipad is built? Will that drastically change things, or you still very much will be in the front lines protecting the president?
Yeah, they're not going to be able to use the helicopter for everything. It's more of an emergency exit than anything else, or if some exigent circumstances exist where he can't get to the airport, to the residents in a timely fashion. So it's not going to really solve all the problems of the traffic issues that we're talking about. It's mainly a stopgap measure in case we need it.
Okay, when are we going to see the president again?
It could be, you know, within a week or two.
Very soon again.
Yeah, I think so.
Why do you think he likes it down here so much? Why do we
Well,
keep seeing
why
him come
wouldn't
back?
you?
Did he give you an idea? Did he
No,
say
he
anything?
didn't. But I mean, think about it. You know, Washington is where you're getting beat up. It's cold up there. You know, I don't think Camp David is as nice as what Mar-a-Lago is. So if you have that facility here and the weather's great, if it was me, I'd come here too.
All right, Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, thank you for joining us this morning, and you'll be busy keeping our president safe for the next couple weeks.
It's great that he pays attention to local law enforcement, and on my end, it's all about keeping this community safe.
All right, very good. Rick Bradshaw, thank you for joining us. Aaron, we'll toss it over to you.
All right, Mark, Sheriff, thank you so much. Ovarian cancer survivors and their families will unite this weekend.
Coming up, we're going to talk more with a special guest about the Ovarian Cancer Survivors Course. Palm Beach County recently elected its first black lawyer to become a county judge. I get to talk with him one-on-one, and you'll hear more about his journey straight ahead.
And as we head to break, here's a look at our First Alert Sky Cam, the Waterstone Resort and Marina. A live look right there. Some clouds in the area. Taylor Grenda's in for Sandra Strauss. You're going to have a look at your forecast as we enter this Tuesday. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We're following breaking news right now out of Philadelphia. Emergency crews are on the scene of a train crash. These are live pictures you're looking at right now.
Authorities say two of the out-of-service trains collided early this morning. There's no immediate word on any injuries. We're going to continue to monitor this situation and bring you any updates. Again, you're looking at live pictures out of Philadelphia. Two trains collide. We're getting new details. We'll bring them to you throughout the hour.
Well, the Pope has issued a warning about the dangers of texting.
Our high-tech friendly Pope says texting during meals is the start of war because there is no dialogue. The 80-year-old says dialogue is a cure for violence, and he's urging teens not to bring their cell phones to the dinner table. The Pope says people must communicate, not text through meals. And that's a good lesson for not only teens, but also adults as well. And you can now get your hands on Snapchat's super trendy eyewear no matter where you live.
I haven't even seen these. For months, apparently, the only way to get the video recording sunglasses was to track down a roaming vending machine.
What?
Now you can buy the sunglasses online. Price tag $130. I don't know what they do, but hey, whatever. Your Facebook feed is getting a makeover again, and very soon.
Yes, and I feel like every time this happens, people aren't happy about it, and we get
annoying.
used
You got to
to it.
readjust to it.
And just like in the past, again, people are going to have to get used to it.
Remember when you could only post a status on Facebook? Then came pictures, then video. But the way you experience video on your feed is about to change. If you look at a video now, it's silent. You have to tap on it in order to hear the sound. Pretty soon, that's all going away. Instead, Facebook is pumping up the volume. When a video auto plays, so will the sound. So as you scroll through your feed, the sound will fade in and out. If the thought of a loud feed gives you a headache, there will be a way to permanently turn this feature off. It's a simple switch in settings. Also, if your phone is on silent, the sound will not autoplay. Another change, watch and scroll. This allows you to minimize the video you're watching so you can continue to check out other things on your feed. Facebook says these changes will make your experience more rich, but it could also just be maybe a little bit more annoying.
Could also get, if you don't turn those settings off, you could also get caught in meetings looking at Facebook watching videos.
Well, now we know what Erin does, Taylor.
No, not me.
We all know what Erin's doing during the morning meeting. All right, let's move along to your Tuesday morning forecast. And all things quiet out there across South Florida this morning, but we're tracking some changes on the way. This area of low pressure is going to inch closer to us as we go throughout the day on Wednesday, also into early on Thursday morning, bringing some much needed rainfall with it as well. So here's a look at live First Alert Doppler radar. We do have that cloud coverage kind of in full force, and we're going to see that help swing in as we go throughout the day. So some peaks of sunshine here and there, but another dry Tuesday ahead. Here's updated future track as we do plan this in the next few days out for you. Here's 11:30, even the noon hour today. Things are quiet. We'll stay dry throughout your Tuesday afternoon. Some cloud coverage breaking up as we head into the evening hours, but we're looking at a partly cloudy to mostly cloudy day. Then here we go. Early Thursday morning, that moisture starts to move on in. Spotty showers possible during anywhere 6:30 in the morning to 7 o'clock, and only to increase heading throughout the afternoon. Main event happening across South Florida. I do think anytime into Wednesday evening. So anytime after 5, 6 o'clock, we could see some scattered heavy downpours in the mix, increasing later on in the night hours, midnight, 3 o'clock and Thursday morning. We're still tracking this wet weather, and then finally pushing out of here once we head into Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. So Wednesday, I think, will be the main event. weekend, especially late Wednesday night into the wee hours of Thursday morning. We'll start to dry out and clear out later in the day on Thursday. And then for the Honda Classic Friday, Saturday and Sunday actually look much drier with plenty of sunshine in place. So we'll have a few wet days to get through, and then sunshine and the beautiful South Florida winter weather will return. Here's your updated hour by hour forecast. Clouds kind of hanging around throughout your afternoon. Temperatures will be kind of comfortable, but that humidity kind of starting to creep back as well. We're forecasting highs to be right around 80 degrees. If your plans do take you to the beach, it looks pretty good with some peaks of sunshine here and there. Temperatures still running in the upper 70s. Ankle high surf, and we do have a slight risk for rip currents with that east wind. We always usually see this a little bit breezy, anywhere between 5 to 20 miles per hour. Also a little bit bumpy on area waterways. We're tracking 2 to 3 foot seas, a moderate chop on the inland waterways. East winds anywhere between 10 to 15 knots. Here's a check on South Florida's most accurate 7-day forecast. Again, 2 days to watch. Late Wednesday night into Thursday morning. That's when that wet weather will move on through. We could see some spotty storms in the mix as well. Friday, upcoming weekend for the Honda Classic. Things finally quiet down. We get that rain out of here. Plenty of sunshine and temperatures into the lower 80s.
Taylor, thank you. Time now for a check of your Florida headlines. The stand your ground hearing for 74-year-old Curtis Reeves continues this morning in Pasco County.
Reeves is accused of killing a man in a movie theater after they argued over texting.
Once the popcorn is grabbed, once the popcorn is tossed, that is over. He can't prevent that by shooting Mr. Olson.
Reeves is being charged with second-degree murder.
Beachgoers in Central Florida were stunned over the weekend when they discovered a half-eaten shark washed ashore. You see a picture here.
Officials don't know whether another shark is responsible for this shark's death, but a spokesperson for the Volusia County Sheriff's Department says whatever fish caused the death was certainly a lot bigger than the 5-foot shark.
The concern is not that there's something bigger, it's how close to shore is that. How about this one? JetBlue is cutting its capacity to Cuba.
The carrier is not reducing flight schedules, but instead will use smaller planes to service the route. JetBlue is the third airline to reduce capacity since commercial passenger service to the island resumed last summer. The airline says it will continue to operate nearly 50 weekly round-trip flights to Cuban destinations. Well, the Oscars are this Sunday, and after last year's controversy over the lack of diversity among the acting nominees, this year is expected to be much different.
A record number of women and minorities are up for the Golden Statue, and here's a preview.
Hollywood getting red carpet ready for what organizers say is a more diverse and inclusive Academy Awards, trying to put the Oscars so white hashtag and controversy of the past to rest for good.
And it just so happened that this year we had an abundance of films that represented inclusion.
After 2 years in a row of all 20 nominees in the acting categories being white, leading to boycotts,
I will not be at the Academy Awards.
And mockery.
Well, I'm here at the Academy Awards, otherwise known as the White People's Choice Awards.
This year, 7 of the 20 acting nominees represent racial diversity, from Viola Davis to Dev Patel, and it extends to other categories too. Joy McMillan is now the first African-American woman nominated for editing for her work on Moonlight.
Well, you gotta decide for yourself who you're gonna be.
And in the Best Documentary category, 4 of the 5 nominated movies were made by black filmmakers.
I think that they've done a wonderful job. There's some great films this year, and there's a lot of, diversity.
And now the writer who started the Oscars So White hashtag says while there is still more work to do, this year's nominations are a step in the right direction. A direction the Academy plans to continue heading
The 89th Academy Awards ceremony is this Sunday. Our coverage of the red carpet, it begins at 7 o'clock. The awards show starts at 8:30. The only way to watch it right here on WPBF 25.
Of course, we'll talk fashion on Monday.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.
Covering South Florida from the Palm Beaches to Boca Raton and the Treasure Coast. This is WPBF 25 News at 9.
Thank you so much for staying with us for WPBF 25 News at 9. I'm Stephanie Brzezinski.
And I'm Erin Guy. This morning, Boynton Beach. We know a Boynton Beach man is in court charged in the murder from over the weekend.
Our Alex Browning has the story.
Shedrick Moss will appear in front of a judge for the first time after being arrested in connection of Saturday's Boynton Beach murder. He was arrested yesterday by police. Police say Moss shot Anthony Harris and Jeffrey Wingham. Harris died from his injuries Saturday. Moss is being charged with attempted robbery and first-degree murder. Right now, he's being held without bond. In West Palm Beach, Alex Browning, WPBF 25 News.
All right, thanks, Alex. Moving along to your Tuesday morning forecast, a live look outside from the Treasure Coast, PBIA, and Boca Raton. You can see that cloud coverage kind of continuing to blanket the South Florida skies this morning, and we'll see that really stick around throughout the morning hours and into this afternoon, too. As we do track moisture on the way, today will still be relatively dry. Temperatures are off to a nice mild start, 60s anywhere around Lake Okeechobee, upper 60s extending further north towards the Treasure Coast, 70s elsewhere from Stewart at 72 degrees. Good morning to those of you in West Palm Beach, 74 there, and 76 degrees coming in Boca Raton. Again, here's a look at that cloud coverage continuing to trail on in, but the great news is that everyone is off to a dry start and the dry Tuesday ahead. Variably cloudy throughout this afternoon. We'll see some peaks of sunshine in the mix. Temperatures reaching right around 80 degrees. East winds also a little bit breezy, anywhere between 5 to 20 miles per hour. So dry today, then we're tracking the changes heading into Wednesday. This area of low pressure tracks closer to South Florida, increasing our rain chances as early as Wednesday morning, lasting through Thursday morning. The latest details on this and how much rain we could potentially see coming up in a few minutes.
Taylor, thank you. Right now, it's time to get a check of headlines happening across the country and around the world.
A military court has sentenced an Israeli soldier to 18 months in prison for the deadly shooting of a Palestinian. Roy Asaria was convicted of manslaughter for shooting and killing the Palestinian man who was incapacitated and did not pose an immediate danger. The video emerged of Azaria shooting the man. Lawyers say that they will appeal. 4 Americans on vacation and an Australian pilot died in Melbourne when their plane crashed into a shopping mall shortly after takeoff.
Greg Reynolds, Dee Haven, and Russell Munch have been identified by their families on social media as 2 of the victims. The other 2 passengers and the pilot's name have not been released. No one outside of the plane was injured. The Federal Reserve will release the minutes of its latest meeting, which could signal a possible interest rate hike.
Since Fed Chair Janet Yellen told Congress last week that a March interest rate hike was on the table, many have been looking for clues about whether the Fed will actually make the move next month. Encouraging data last week increased the chances of Fed action.
This morning, President Trump has a new national security advisor. He made the announcement late yesterday afternoon, kicking off a full week that could include the rollout of a new immigration order.
That's right. Nicole Killian is live in Washington with more on that. But before we get to that, you've been doing some digging. You have more on the president's new hire. What do you know?
Well, what we can tell you is that Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster is a prominent military strategist who is well respected on both sides of the aisle.
President Trump returned to the White House Monday night after another weekend at his Mar-a-Lago estate, where he announced his new pick for National Security Advisor.
General H.R. McMaster will become the National Security Advisor. He's a man of tremendous talent.
I'd just like to say what a privilege it is to be able to continue serving our nation.
Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster is a career Army man who will remain on active duty, according to the White House. He replaces Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who resigned last week for misleading Vice President Mike Pence and other administration officials about his calls with the Russian ambassador. Traveling overseas, Pence addressed the incident for the first time.
I was disappointed to learn that the facts that have been conveyed to me by General Flynn were inaccurate.
Hoping to put the upheaval behind them, the White House is now on course to unveil a new extreme vetting order this week. A senior administration official says it will target the same 7 predominantly Muslim countries as before, but exempt green card holders and dual citizens of the United States.
Not my president!
In cities across the country, many continue to protest the president's immigration stance and other policies at Not My President's Day rallies.
Well, the White House says that the final draft of that travel order should be released soon. Live in Washington, Nicole Killian, WPBF 25 News.
New statistics from the Federal Bureau of Prisons reveal that African Americans are 5 times more likely to be incarcerated. But here in South Florida, one man hopes to change those numbers.
WPBF 25 News continues our celebration of Black History Month as Farron Sallee got a chance to sit down with Palm Beach County's first African American lawyer to become a judge.
Hanging in a small closet are the robes of the Honorable Bradley Harper. We found him typing away at his desk by a painting of Thurgood Marshall.
Our justice system
doesn't necessarily reflect the population of people that are going through it or the population in the counties.
According to the Bureau of Justice, 1 in 3 black men can expect to go to prison in their lifetime. Harper told me that's why more people need to do what he's done.
I've seen both sides of the bench in my family, and it's really important to me to work hard every day to try to get it right.
And with the seal of the state behind him, he can.
We rarely get this side of the justice system, but when the courtroom was empty, he also let us come in to see where he now has a seat.
I think in addition to a skill set, a connection to the community helps give you a balanced approach to being a judge.
As a Palm Beach native and proud Floridian, Judge Harper now becomes one of just 7 blacks on the bench in Palm Beach County. Reporting in West Palm, Farron Salee, WPBF 25 News.
This is truly an accomplishment for Harper. All of the other African-American judges in our area were first appointed to their positions by the governor. He actually had to beat out the assistant state attorney for that seat. A good story by Farron Salee, and you're going to hear more from Farron as she has special reports about local African-American heroes and ways you can celebrate Black History Month all week long. Steph, over to you.
All right, Farron, thank you. Well, this weekend, cancer survivors, their families, and their friends will get some more life-saving information. It's all part of the Ovarian Cancer Survivors course. And joining me right now to talk about it is Dr. Antonella Leary, a gynecologic oncologist. Thank you so much for being here this morning. A very important topic to discuss, ovarian cancer. Let's first start with telling our viewers how dangerous ovarian cancer can be.
Well, in this year alone, 22,000 new cases of ovarian cancer are going to be diagnosed. And out of those 22,000 cases, 14,000 deaths we know can happen from ovarian cancer. So with any cancer, as we know, the later you find it, the more dangerous it is.
Is ovarian cancer hard to diagnose? Harder than other cancers?
Yes, I mean, we call it the silent whisper because some of the symptoms and signs they mimic other diseases such as bloating. You can have bloating from eating wrong food. You can have bloating from just kind of GI upset. Abdominal pain, again, those are silent signs that we've done studies talking to patients. If they go back in time 3 months, they've had these small signs throughout those 3 months, and so it can lead to a late diagnosis, unfortunately.
So what's the best way to stay on top of your health, your female health, in terms of getting diagnosed early on?
Well, we know that there's not wonderful ways to diagnose this, unfortunately. However, going to see your gynecologist once a year is very, very important. A pelvic exam is extremely important. We don't recommend yearly ultrasonography because we're finding that we have a lot of false positives, and then patients are undergoing treatments that would not be necessary.
So tell us a little bit more about this survivors course that's taking place. What's the whole purpose?
Oh, it's a wonderful course. It's where patients in our community with their families can come and gather. They can speak to each other and they can learn up-to-date information from physicians and nurses and experts around the country that come to West Palm, and they give their expertise. It's wonderful. They have a yoga time at lunch where they can relax and truly learn up-to-date information.
And for women who are diagnosed with ovarian cancer, what are their chances of survival?
I tell patients, listen, ovarian cancer is like a chronic disease. It's like high blood pressure and diabetes. You can't think of it as a death sentence any longer. We have wonderful treatments. There is hope. You have to go in with that mentality because it's a lot of mind over matter. So, you know, they're much, much better survival.
And attitude can make all the difference.
Absolutely.
Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. Again, the Ovarian Cancer Survivors course is this Saturday, February 25th at the Hilton in West Palm Beach. We've made it very easy for you to register. We have set up a link to it on WPBF.com. Erin?
Great information. Thank you, ladies. Well, they're known as the Jersey Boys of Cuba, 4 tenors with a tropical twist. Stick around. The sweet sounds of the Habana Boys are coming up live. They're in studio. You're not going to want to miss this. Coming your way next. Welcome back. The Honda Classic is officially underway, and this morning a very talented 6-year-old boy is taking the best players in the world. He's challenging them in the one-arm challenge.
Tommy Morrissey of Palm Beach Gardens learned to play golf with just one arm, and right now he is challenging the pros at PGA National. And get this, he has won 30 of his last 32 challenges against pro golfers. You may remember he appeared on Ellen just a couple years ago.
It really has taken a life of its own. Tommy gets out on the course and he challenges the professional players to swing the golf club like he swings the golf club. It's really a lot of fun. The players have to make a mental adjustment to what Tommy does, and it is just sometimes hilarious.
Oh, he is adorable. Tommy already tweeted he's looking forward to seeing